Hello everyone and welcome back to another Black Desert video. So today I wanted to talk about a few things that I would recommend doing after seasons. This is actually a very common question that I get quite regularly, and I've had a video of this last year, and I guess every year I should probably update this simply because, a lot changes. So, 5 things to do after seasons, because as we all know, when you're under seasonals, there's a lot you could do. But at the end of the day, you're kind of locked by Tuvala gear. So at the high end, you're probably around like 250 AP, which is not bad, but it's very limiting. So the first one I'd recommend is going for your Pen Armors and your Fallen God. And as we all know, these are the end game armors. And what I would recommend doing, while you can do it on season, it's just like some of the grind spots are in the higher area, but you can't even equip it either if you got it. So it's kind of like a post-season thing. So one thing I would recommend doing is the Magnus questline. You'll find it by the Abyssal Well. I think if you first start it, you talk to like one person in Velia and they just start the quest. But if you have no idea, it's basically under your main quest. And let me find that. It's the Abyssal 1, or Abyss 1, and just like the 117 questline. At the end of it, you get a free pen boss gear of your choice, and I would probably just pick the one that's like the most expensive on the central market. I think they're mostly all the same, but whichever one's the most for you, just get that one so you don't have to worry about it. After that, just Capris it to 10, and then you're good to go. I also, have a video talking about what stacks I would use if you're self-enhancing it, and everything else, so this is something you're going to have to work on eventually and just take off like maybe 10 to 15 billion silver by doing the Magnus questline and getting all those. So yeah, something to do to help you progress through the end game. The next thing I want to talk about, number 2, is something they added recently into the game. So as you guys know, with Tuvala gear on season, you can convert them into like the accessories go into Kharazad. It's once per family, so like basically once an account. And then the pen, or not pen, I guess deck nowadays, Tuvala weapons, one time you can change to a pen Blackstar, and that's something to look forward to. So I believe you should be able to get like 2.5 Blackstars, 2 of them at pen, just one by getting level 61, the other one from a deck Tuvala weapon. And I think a while ago, they gave a Tet Blackstar. I don't know if that's still permanent or did they just convert it to pen. Either way, you should be able to get at least 2 pen Blackstars nowadays. And what I would recommend to people is if you only have one of each Blackstar, I would get like one on your main hand and one on your Awakening. I would not go directly 2 of the same to convert into Sovereign early on, simply because it's a very expensive upgrade every time. So it's better to get like 2 or all of your Black Stars first before going into Sovereign. And trust me when I say it is a very endgame money sink to upgrade these yourself. And so it's better to get your incremental gains before going up into best in slot. And you'll trust me when I say that. It's a lot of silver. So especially for all of you new players out there, yeah, just fill up all your Black Stars first, and then go Kharazad one at a time, or Kharazad and Sovereign one at a time. So, yeah, with the deck Tuvala accessories, you could exchange one into like a, what is it? I think Tet equivalent of a Kharazad necklace, and that's a one-time thing, but that's, progression forward as well. I would go with weapons before armors. So yeah. The next thing I would do after seasons, and you could do this on seasons, but it's more of a thing that people invest into afterwards, simply because, when you're a new player, gear, like your actual gear and AP is a little bit more important, but it's optimizing your crystals and lightstones. Now I have a video, it's called my crystal and lightstone setup version 9, that's the latest one. But something you guys can do is start optimizing whether you want to do PvE, PvP, life skilling, and start like actually investing into them. Because believe it or not, having a good set of crystals will actually improve your damage a lot. Like, for example, this is my go-to PvE. Sometimes I switch out some of them, but, you know, that's beside the point. Either way, that's like extra AP against monsters, plus 64. Fat crit damage and, you know, a bunch of other stats. That actually adds up, believe it or not. Some people, like, if you're new, all you think about is like, oh, this number right here. Yeah, bigger number is better, obviously. But when you grind in like the higher end spots out of seasons, what really matters is your total number and then like your extra AP against monsters or, you know, whatever you're doing. So this stat page right here, once you get out of seasons and you're looking at like intermediate to high level stuff, you actually do look at this a lot more. And then number obviously bigger when you're buffed and everything. So yeah, I have a video of that. I'll leave it in the description if you want to just check it out. And even if you may not need it now, it's something that is currently updated. So you can look at for all my artifacts, Lightstones. You guys can check that out. And these are for like end game stuff as well. And I also talk about beginner level, you know, budget options. So yeah, usually people do this all after seasons simply because, you know, when you look at crystals, you're like, oh my God, 2 billion for one crystal. That's insane. Yeah, trust me, I get that. And then like 1 billion each. That's like, you know, when your next upgrade for actual sheet AP is probably cheaper. That's why I'd recommend doing it later. All right, so the next thing I want to talk about, number 4, after you graduate from seasons, is start trying out new grind spots. Now, the best way you guys can do this is go into the Monster Zone tab info, and then you guys can look at all of these yourself. And I have a lot of videos talking about what you could do for like best grind spots with silver, XP, with Agris, and all that stuff. And the best thing I like to do is sort this by optimal AP, so no matter where you're at in the game. So I assume that after seasons, you're probably 240, 250-ish AP. And then you could just sort down by like AP order, or if there's something you like, you could sort by region. And every region has some decent spots, but it's probably better to just like go through AP order and then figure it out. So yeah, start grinding new spots. Go read some guides, check out, you know, some other streamers and everything, and they'll probably give you some good advice as well. But once again, I have a very long, detailed video on best places for everything if you care to check that out. And the next thing I want to talk about is if you haven't already started grinding out your infinite potions on your seasons, these two things, the Ornets and Odor's Spirit Essence, you should probably start doing that now, simply because as you get into the higher level grind spots, like HP pots are basically mandatory because you're going to be using them on the regular. And so it is probably cheaper to just save up silver and buy them. But if you are one of those people that are just like, oh, I want to get it myself just for the self-accomplishment, yeah, you might want to start doing them like immediately before you get into like the higher end AP and you're like, oh, I'm only making like 600 mil an hour versus like 2 billion an hour when you're actually geared. So yeah, it's one of those things that's better done early than later, but the best recommendation is just buying it because it saves you a lot of time. I understand someone else has to do it. So yeah, I just hope anyone who actually unironically enjoys grinding out infinite potions just to sell them, I hope you guys have good RNG because like everyone needs them. So yeah, it's one of those things where someone has to do it. You really don't want it to be you, but hopefully you get yours. And some other fun things, I guess this is just an extra one, is start trying out new things. Like, do you want to try PvP out in this game? Usually there's a lot of stuff, whether you're gear capped, ungear capped, and you know, you just want to test like what your skills are. There's a lot of things for PvP. Start learning the PvE bosses and dungeons. And there's one other thing, like the find, party, and platoon thingy. So if you've never done this before, essentially to send you into the normal mode, there's a normal and hard mode. Usually hard is like specific groups. But yeah, you could do all the dungeons over here, at least 220, 270. You could do this on seasons, but like obviously more AP is better. So it's probably better to be higher geared before going into all this. And so you could do that, as well as, you know, the black shrines, start doing all the bosses, and maybe find a guild that also does weeklies and everything. So it's always fun. Just try these out, test your skills. Like, obviously more AP is better, so, you know, try to improve, get leaderboard scores. I wish they would have overall leaderboards in terms of like non-resetting time rankings, but it is what it is. It's pretty decent rewards, and start learning them and maybe get some nice stuff. So with that said, that has been 6 things that I would recommend doing after seasons. A few of them you could do on seasons, but it's just like a little bit harder because you're gear limited and everything. And even if you did it early on, if you're still on seasons, you can't even equip it anyway because you're locked into Vala. So either way, those are some things I'd recommend. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks so much for watching. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Drop a like and all that other stuff. I'd love to see you come back. And I have a bunch of other videos coming out. I'll also leave a link in the description to a lot of the stuff we talked about earlier. So if you're interested in watching them, they're in way more detail. But yeah, that's about it for me today. I'll see you guys later. Have a fantastic day. Peace.